Lexi Hall came back a completely different player this season. More aggressive, more assertive, and nearly impossible to take off the floor because of how relentlessly she competes. She's not just an energy player, she's a toughness player, the kind who does all those little things you can't teach. And now she's stepping into threes and stepping into her moment. What's good, everyone? Welcome back to Basketball Fan with another absolute banger because, oh, Lexi Hall, you fiery little mix, you've really stirred up the hornet's nest this week, got the bees buzzing and the fans talking. The pride of the Indiana Fever, the blue-collar baller who doesn't just show up, she shows out, is finally getting the recognition she's earned. And for that, shout out to Glamour magazine for putting some well-deserved respect on her name. Their feature captured what we've been saying for months. Lexi Hall is the Fever's ride or die, the kind of player every championship-caliber team needs. She's the heart, the hustle, and the glue. Everything that defines Indiana basketball. You've heard it before. Lexi brings the energy every single night. She's the spark plug who dives for loose balls, takes charges without flinching, hits clutch shots, and pumps life into her teammates. She's not just a player. She's a culture setter, the embodiment of that Fever grit. Every team in the WNBA needs a Lexi Hall, and Indiana's lucky to have her. But the glamour piece went deeper, touching on something fans have been whispering about for a while, the DeWanna Bonner situation. And let me tell you, Lexi didn't hold back. When asked about Bonner's sudden departure from the Fever, you could feel the emotion in her words. She said, "I was super excited because finally there was a player in my position that I could look up to, someone who's won in this league, who knows what it takes, and who I could learn from." And then she randomly leaves, and we're all just kind of like, what happened? We were never given an explanation. That's raw honesty right there. You could sense her disappointment and confusion because Bonner isn't just another player. She's a two-time WNBA champion, one of the most respected vets in the game. For a young player like Hull, having a mentor like Bonner could have been huge, both on and off the court. What's even more telling is that Caitlin Clark shared the same feelings earlier this year. She too said she was excited to learn from Bonner, not just about basketball, but about how to handle pressure, expectations, and the emotional roller coaster of the pro game. Despite her worldwide fame, Caitlin still craves that veteran leadership, and that's what makes this Fever locker room dynamic so fascinating. You've got young stars like Caitlin and Lexi, both hungry, humble, and eager to grow, but suddenly that veteran anchor is gone, and no one seems to know why. That void could have fractured the team, but instead, it's fueling players like Lexi Hall to step up even more. Through it all, Lexi's focus hasn't wavered. She's stayed grounded, committed, and locked in on the team's success. Whether she's coming off the bench or starting, her energy is contagious. She embodies everything that makes this new era of Indiana Fever basketball exciting: heart, hustle, and pride. The fans feel it. They see how she grinds, how she competes, how she bleeds for that jersey. She's the unsung hero, the defensive dog, the emotional backbone of this young squad, and finally, she's getting her flowers. Whether it's on the floor or in a glamour profile, Lexi Hall is showing everyone why Indiana fans ride so hard for her. So stay locked in, basketball fan, because if Lexi's this fired up in October, imagine what kind of storm she's cooking up for next season. The grit, the growth, and the fire she's carrying, it's all leading to something special. This isn't just about stats or headlines. It's about setting a tone, defining a culture, and proving that the heart of the Fever beats strongest through players like Lexi Hall. Lexi Hall didn't just make headlines this week. She sparked a conversation that's been simmering under the surface of the WNBA for months. In her Glamour magazine interview, Lexi said something that turned heads immediately. There is a level of jealousy when it comes to the Fever just because of the media attention and the fans that have shown up for us ever since Caitlin got here. We've heard people and players and teams talking in their locker room about how they can't let the Fever win. That's the kind of statement that stops you in your tracks, because she just said the quiet part out loud. And honestly, shout out to Lexi Hall for having the courage to say it. Because while Caitlin Clark often chooses to stay diplomatic, understanding how magnified every word out of her mouth can become, Lexi decided not to tiptoe. She told the truth. Caitlin knows the politics of the league. She understands that coexistence with veterans, opponents, and teammates requires a certain kind of restraint. But Lexi? She went there, and she wasn't wrong. She basically confirmed what fans, analysts, and insiders have been whispering since draft night. There's a very real sense of jealousy surrounding the Indiana Fever, jealousy toward Caitlin Clark, jealousy toward the massive spotlight she's brought to the league. and jealousy toward what she represents for the future of women's basketball. And you can't deny it. The signs have been everywhere. Remember when the Fever's national TV schedule dropped and the internet exploded? Players from other teams were complaining, some even throwing shade online. Even Nafisa Collier couldn't resist a little dig, which we'll get into another day. But here's the truth. None of it should have been a surprise. Of course, the Fever were going to get the most national attention. They have the most popular player in the sport. Their games bring the highest ratings, sell the most tickets, and generate the most buzz. That's not favoritism, it's simple economics. The team that draws the audience gets the spotlight. And that's exactly how every major sports league operates. The NFL doesn't put low viewership teams in prime time just to be fair. They showcase the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Eagles because those games drive ratings and revenue. The WNBA should want the same thing, because when fans tune in to watch Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, or Sabrina Ionescu, the entire league benefits. But instead of embracing that, some players see it as a threat. And that's why Lexi Hull's comments hit so hard. She didn't just speak truth, she struck a nerve. She said, "If you have extra motivation to beat us because of something out of our control, that's fine." Translation, if you're mad about the attention, that's your problem, not ours. She's not apologizing for the Fever's popularity, not backing down from the noise, and not pretending the jealousy isn't real. She's basically saying, we can't control the cameras, the fans, or the media. We just hoop. And that's a powerful message because it gets to the heart of what's really going on in the league right now. The Fever, led by Caitlin Clark, have become the team to beat, not just because of their record, but because of what they symbolize. Every time they step on the court, arenas are packed, the ratings spike, and the social media chatter explodes. And that drives opponents crazy. Every other team circles Indiana on their schedule, treating that matchup like their personal championship game. But Lexi's mindset is clear. Bring it on. If it takes jealousy or resentment to fire you up, that's on you. The Fever will show up the same way every night. It's exactly like the Philadelphia Eagles when they were dominating the NFL. Every team played them like it was the Super Bowl. That's what Lexi's getting at. The Fever have become the league's measuring stick. Beating them means validation, exposure, and bragging rights. But Lexi's not losing sleep over that. If anything, she's using it as fuel. She knows that hate and envy are just proof that you're doing something right. And here's where things get even more revealing. It's not just the players showing their cards anymore, it's the fans too. The same conversations that used to stay in locker rooms are now spilling out online, and some of what's being said is honestly disturbing. One viral comment read, "White women stay thinking a black woman owes them an explanation," referring to Lexi's remarks about DeWanna Bonner's sudden exit. That's not just a bad take. It's one of the most divisive and ignorant statements floating around social media right now. Because this was never about race. It was about professionalism, communication, and leadership. Lexi wasn't being entitled or disrespectful, she was being human. She said she admired Bonner, wanted to learn from her, and was caught off guard when she left without saying much. That's not arrogance, that's honesty. But the internet being what it is, people twisted a simple moment of transparency into something ugly that doesn't even belong in the conversation. And that's exactly why Lexi Hull's authenticity matters so much. She's not trying to be controversial. She's standing up for clarity, accountability, and team culture. The Fever didn't ask for the spotlight, it found them. The fans showed up, the cameras followed, and the numbers speak for themselves. And instead of shrinking under the weight of it, Lexi Hull is leaning in, saying exactly what needs to be said. You can hate, you can doubt, you can throw shade, but it won't change the fact that we're here. We're rising, and we're not apologizing for it. She's not just defending her team, she's defining the new mindset of the Indiana Fever. Confident, fearless, and unapologetically competitive. So as the league continues to wrestle with its insecurities, the Fever are focused on one thing: winning. And as Lexi just reminded everyone, that's the best response there is. Basketball fan, stay locked in, because this fire is only getting started. Got it. Looks like you're wrapping up a commentary script and that, I feel like, line at the end sounds like you were about to add your closing thoughts or outro tone. Here's a clean, natural way to finish that ending smoothly in your same voice and rhythm. I feel like this whole situation just exposed what's really been brewing under the surface for a while. Not just in the Fever locker room, but across the entire league. People don't like change when it challenges their comfort zone. And that's exactly what this new wave of players is doing. shaking up the old order. So yeah, Lexi Hull spoke her truth. Some folks couldn't handle it, but that's on them, not her. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep it real and keep it respectful. Would you like me to make this into a final, polished YouTube script with pacing, tone markers, and music cue suggestions, like a full Basketball Unplugged episode ending? I feel like at some point we all have to admit the truth. The WNBA is finally getting attention, and not everyone's ready for what that means. You've got a new generation of players who are marketable, outspoken, and not afraid to push back when people cross the line. That's a shift. For years, players were told to just be grateful to be there, to stay quiet, to accept whatever little recognition they got. But now? Nah. This new era, the Caitlin Clarks, the Lexi Hulls, the Angel Reeses, the whole crew, they're building something bigger. They're not just playing basketball. They're changing the culture. They're bringing new fans, new sponsors, new energy. But with that comes resistance, and we're seeing it plain as day. Every time a woman stands up for herself, there's always a wave of folks trying to drag her down, pick apart her tone, twist her words, and act like confidence is arrogance. It's wild because when men speak with that same conviction, it's called leadership. When women do it, suddenly it's attitude. That double standard is exactly what Lexi was calling out, and that's why her comments hit such a nerve. The truth is, this whole situation with Bonner just exposed how uncomfortable some people get when accountability enters the chat. You can't ghost a team, leave a locker room full of people hanging, and expect everyone to clap for you afterward. The Fever had chemistry, momentum, and a fan base that was finally seeing hope again, and she just dipped. That's not hate, that's facts. And yet when someone like Lexi dares to say something real, people act like she committed a crime. Nah, what she did was remind everyone that professionalism still matters, that commitment still matters, and that loyalty isn't just a buzzword you throw around when it benefits you. And that's why this conversation matters beyond the headlines, because what we're seeing right now in the W is a culture shift. Players are demanding more. From ownership, from teammates, from the media, and from fans. And that's a good thing. That's growth. That's evolution. The game's bigger than it's ever been, and it's time for everyone to start acting like it. You know what else I feel like? I feel like we're watching the first real clash between the old guard and the new wave. You've got the old school fans and veterans who think the league should stay small, quiet, and pure. And then you've got the new generation that's like, nah, we're done being silent. And the clash is loud because it's supposed to be. That's how progress looks. It's messy, uncomfortable, and loud, but it's necessary, because if everyone kept pretending like everything was fine, the league would still be invisible. Now it's trending. Now it's viral. Now it's alive. So let the haters talk. Let them post their think pieces, twist quotes, and spin narratives. The truth always outlasts the noise. Lexi Hull doesn't need validation from strangers online. She's living it, she's doing it, she's putting in the work. The same way Caitlin Clark's doing it. The same way Angel Reese is doing it. These women are rewriting the story in real time, and it's beautiful to watch. And if you ask me, that's what's really bothering people. Because deep down, they know the game's changed forever. The spotlight isn't moving back. The attention isn't fading. The WNBA isn't going anywhere. It's just getting started. And if you can't handle players who speak truthfully, play passionately, and carry themselves with confidence, maybe it's not the league that's the problem. Maybe it's you. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for today, man. This whole thing, it's been messy, but it's real. And that's what makes it worth talking about. The culture's shifting, the game's growing, and honestly, I'm here for every second of it. So yeah, shout out to Lexi Hull for keeping it authentic. Shout out to the Fever fans who ride for their team no matter what. And shout out to every player out there who refuses to shrink just to make other people comfortable. All right, y'all, that's it for today's breakdown. You already know what to do. Hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Basketball Unplugged for more straight talk, no filters. Appreciate you for watching. Stay locked in, stay respectful, and as always, go have the day you deserve. Music fades out. Screen transitions to outro graphics.